This week, we're going to conduct an analysis of the people and groups that matter to your business model. This is called a stakeholder analysis. A stakeholder is a person, group or entity that can be affected by or can affect the landscape degradation challenge of your future business model. Stakeholders may be farmers, local government, local communities, hikers and recreational users, as well as the nature itself or wildlife. Essentially, everyone or anything that can be deemed to have something at stake may be identified as a stakeholder. A stakeholder analysis will seek to identify who are these people and groups, what are their stakes, and how may they potentially offer support or block your business idea. This helps you to evaluate how to treat each group and potentially help you to find partners for your business development. We will go through a 5-step process together. The first step is the identification of stakeholders. You can ask yourself questions such as who is currently living or working in the respective area and therefore directly affected by the landscape degradation. Which companies, governments and other organisations are involved in this area? For example, in the case of the Dutch peatlands, the main stakeholders would be the farmers in the region, the cows, the milk distributors and the end customer of the dairy products, just to name a few. All these groups directly or indirectly affect the current landscape degradation. Second, we need to analyse the stake or relationship each stakeholder has to the landscape degradation challenge. We often jump to consider economic stakes. For example, the farmers in the Dutch peat meadows are depending on the land and its usage to ensure an economic income. But also try to think more broadly on stakes that are social, moral, emotional, or based on political interests. Farmers may have an economic stake, but they may also be culturally intertwined with the landscape through generations of families. Thirdly, we can assess the interests of the stakeholders based on their stakes. This helps us to determine why they act like they do and how they may act with regard to any new business idea. For instance, a government that receives taxes from the activities in the area may be interested in receiving higher taxes. The fourth step is to start evaluating the relationships among the different stakeholders. How are they connected with each other? Do they have good or bad relationships with one another? For example, the farmers heavily depend on the milk distributors to buy their milk, and therefore the distributors may have a lot of power over their activities. Our final step is to consider how the stakeholders may support or hinder any new business idea. Would they be in favour of a change of how things are currently done? For instance, a local government may be able to offer subsidies or waiver taxes. On the other hand, it may restrict our activities by not providing permissions. This analysis gives you a handle on the groups you may wish to engage with early on in order to avoid potential risks and gain their support. Don't worry if you don't have all the answers to these questions at this stage. Your stakeholder analysis is an iterative and evolving process that will develop as your new business model starts to crystallise. You may later add new stakeholders or change your understandings of stakes and relationships. For now, work with the information you have at your disposal and start to understand the social system.